Hello lovelies, Nick from Naturally Nick here, and today in the Creative Veggie Workshop series we are doing another cancer kicking vegetable, and today is eggplant. And I'm going to start with dessert because I have my chocolate which is just melted, and you'll see in a minute how I'm going to use it. But you don't want to, once the chocolate's melted, you want to use it straight away. So this is an eggplant tart, believe it or not, just amazing. So I've already made the base, which is 1 cup of walnuts crushed, I just did it in here, half a cup of almond meal, and 2 tablespoons of almond paste. And you mix that all together and then just press it into your tray. There's going to be no cooking here, so as in we're not going to be putting it in the oven, it's going to go in the fridge. So our chocolate mousse on the top is a banana for sweetness. There's half a cup of dates in here and I poured over about 1/3 cup of boiling water and let that soak. So we're using, as I like to do, we want to get our sweetness from fruit or dried fruit wherever possible and not use liquid sugars because we want the fibre. So, and then we need our chocolate, of course. And this is where we're going to actually add a cooked eggplant. So this has just been in the oven and I've taken it out and cooled it. I popped it in the oven whole. I actually didn't poke a hole in it and it popped. Thank goodness it didn't spew everywhere in the oven, but it's still, I heard it and the end blew out. So once it's cooked, you can see that it just falls off of the skin. We're not going to use the skin. And it just beautifully comes off. And it's just a lovely, soft vegetable that really doesn't have much flavour. Eggplant's one of those things that takes on the flavour of whatever you put on it or in it. So that's just the whole eggplant without the skin, all the juice. Pop that in. And now we're just going to blend that. Here when everything's cooked. And then in the meantime, I've melted a block of 70% chocolate. Now melting chocolate is quite easy. You just get a saucepan, put some water in the bottom, get a glass bowl, pop it over the top and pop your chocolate in there. You want to just do it so that the chocolate is just melted. Go any further and it curdles and you can never retrieve it. And so the chocolate in this recipe is what is going to make this set and make it a tart once it goes in the fridge. So we've got our delicious eggplant, banana, dates, cocoa, and now we are just going to put that in here. And then just going to fold that chocolate through. Just mix that until the chocolate is folded all the way through. Absolutely delicious. This is another one of those recipes like the black bean brownies that I don't tell people what's in it. I get them to taste it first and then go, do you know you're actually eating eggplant? Pour that over the top, and then you're just going to pop that in the fridge, and the chocolate, of course, will then set, and that will make it go thick, or not so much thick, but it's going to set so that you can actually cut it and serve little squares. So there you go. First recipe, chocolate eggplant slice. Awesome, in the fridge for that one. And probably need, I'd say, a good 3 to 4 hours for that to set properly. All right, my next recipe is little eggplant pizzas. Now, lots of people can't eat wheat, and if you want to stay away from a lot of the processed products, even some of the alternative pizza bases leave a lot to be desired. So this is just a great way to use another great use for eggplants. So all I've done here is slice the eggplant, popped it on the tray, and like all vegetables that I bake, I put a little bit of coconut oil on the palm of my hand, about a teaspoon, smush it in and pop it over the top of these. I didn't do the underside, I just did that. Sprinkle it with herbamare and then bake it in the oven for about half an hour. Now, so we do now have these lovely little cooked pizza bases. So now I'm going to make the topping, which if you were to put everything in the oven uncooked, I think it would go a little bit soggy. So what I do here is, first of all, I actually just wanted to show you how easy it is to use one of my favourite pieces of equipment, and that is oh my gosh, a blank. It'll come to me. I know you're all screaming at me what it is. Anyway, I'm going to show you how easy it is to slice things with this without cutting your fingers. So this is how I would cook. I would cut all these. A mandolin. So I cut that in half, and then you've got all these beautiful thin slices of red onion, and now we're going to have lovely thin slices of red capsicum. Now I don't go too far because I don't want to cut myself. And with this one, you could cut it in half. I've used the other half of this in something else. And then same thing here. So look how quick and easy that was to cut up all of those vegetables. You can go right the way to go as close as you feel comfortable, about that far. So you've got all of your vegetables cut up, beautiful and thin, so they're all going to cook evenly. And then we're just going to turn on our fry pan. Now, if possible, stainless steel. And we want to pop a little bit of water in the bottom of that. I don't cook with oil. I've gone back to cooking with just a little bit of hot water. So we're just going to bring that to the boil, and then we're going to pop everything else in there. So that's our veggies. We're going to put some mushrooms in, because we're kind of making like pizza. You want a pizza flavour. Now, while we're waiting for that to cook, we will then put some tomato paste on our pizza slices, our pizza bases. So we are going to pop this in the oven, but I am going to make sure that they're sort of half cooked. A little bit. Now, this probably is a little bit of work. You wouldn't do this for a big family. You might do it for yourself, or say there's just the two of you. This would be a great meal. I can't imagine most kids would be into eggplant pizza bases anyway. But I think that if it's just got the two of you, or just yourself, I'd easily eat this for a whole meal. Now I'm going to put the basil, I've chopped up some fresh basil on the bottom, just of these. Just because if you pop it on the top, they might burn, and I want to really experience that full flavour of the the basil. Love fresh herbs. And remember, this is just another great source of green and fresh herbs. All right, this doesn't really have to, all we're doing really is heating this through so that it's going into the oven warm, half cooked, and take that off. I'm going to pop this on top of our bases here. I'm just going to do that. Now obviously if I wasn't rushing because of the camera, I would be maybe making these look a little bit nicer and neater. Putting these on. Oh my gosh, delicious. It just smells amazing. Hitting that beautiful fresh basil. And then if you like, you can pop some olives on top. And definitely give it a sprinkle of herbamare, healthy salt. And if you wanted to, you could even pop some nutritional yeast on top of that for a bit of a cheesy flavour. And I would pop that back in the oven literally for like 5 or 10 minutes, just for it to heat through and then just serve as is. No, you can't pick it up, you know, like a pizza. You still would have to probably use it with a knife and fork, but absolutely delicious. Alrighty, now the next thing I'm going to make is lots of equipment today. Next thing I'm going to make is baba ganoush. So you might have heard of baba ganoush as eggplant dip or aubergine, also known as aubergine. Some of my American friends might be wondering what I'm talking about. Aubergine. And this really is just another take on hummus. So the eggplant replaces the chickpeas in this because it's exactly the same ingredients. I have roasted the garlic rather than doing it fresh. I think it just gives it a richer flavour for this. So pop in I did a whole bowl of garlic. And then once again, we've got the cooked eggplant, which we're just going to peel off. See how easily it just comes off? And then we're just going to put the whole thing in the blender. All that lovely juice. Got some amazing nutrients, the old eggplant. I think sometimes we think that the only thing we can do with eggplant is like a ratatouille, which I am going to show you how to do. But this is just delicious. It's got such a lovely light and fluffy texture. And that's our tahini. Remember, tahini is sesame seed paste full of calcium. And we want a little bit of herbamare, of course. And we want the juice of half a lemon. Now you could easily double this recipe, of course. Pop that in. And then, I know it's not looking like much. I'd certainly be doubling this recipe. But also, I suppose it depends on the size of your eggplants. All right, and on. Easy. Because that eggplant is so soft, not like chickpeas and having to really cook it, that's done. Amazing. And that is just a beautiful, I don't know whether you can see it, but it's just a beautiful light and fluffy dip. It's got a great texture and just perfect to go with your carrot sticks, your sunflower, carrot sticks, celery sticks, that sort of stuff. Just a really nice alternative to hummus. And I love having dips, fresh dips, because I think it's such a great way to get more raw veggies into us One of the things that I have been reminding my clients lately is the negative effect of raw vegetables. So when you eat raw vegetables, basically your body uses up more calories than the calories in the carrot sticks or the celery sticks. So just remember that. Just, so many nutrients, and you don't have to be worried about the calories. Not that I count calories, but it is good to remember. So the last thing I'm going to do is a ratatouille. And I did want to show you this from scratch because once again, I don't cook with oil. And no one is telling the difference. No one can tell. So how I do it is I start off and put the garlic at the bottom. I've just chucked, I think this is another whole bowl. I love garlic. Just chop it all up, pop it in the bottom. Then next I'd put in all of the onion. Now because you're going to want a little bit of moisture, I put the tomatoes next. So you can either use a can of diced tomatoes or you can use chopped tomatoes. I've used fresh chopped tomatoes because they're on special today. So I'm going to put those down at the bottom, mainly because of the moisture content of those chopped tomatoes. And then all the other vegetables on top of that. So in a ratatouille, you'd normally put zucchini and red capsicum, and of course our diced eggplant. I've cut it quite small, but just diced. Now pop that in there. And then I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of, here it is, just 1/4 cup of water, and you really just want to add that so that it can start cooking, because once that starts cooking, all the moisture from the vegetables is going to come out, and it's just going to make a lovely, thick, tasty ratatouille. I'm going to put that on low, and then I'm going to cook that, obviously some herbamare for the salt, and pop the lid on, and I'm going to cook that for a couple of hours on low. So this is something you could even put in a slow cooker, or you could do it faster in a pressure cooker. And then towards the end, I'm going to get a can of green lentils, these are. Rinse them and just pop them on top and then mix them through. You could put them in now on the top if you wanted to set and forget and walk away. Or just wait until this is nearly cooked and pop it in. These are already cooked, so it won't matter. So there you go, 4 amazing recipes that you can try with eggplant. So look forward to seeing you next week. Give me a like and share this if you think there's anyone else who would love to know some interesting ways to do eggplant. See you next week.